Got it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the 50 podcast. I'm your host, Haley. Today, we are here with AJ. She's an active law enforcement officer. She's an internet influencer, fitness enthusiast, competitive cheerleader, and female police advocate. So, for our listeners who don't know who you are, please give them a quick bio about yourself, and after we'll peel back all the layers and dive deeper into all the things we talked about above and more. So you have the floor. Just a quick little bio.
Okay. Hi. When you look at, do I look at you? Do I look at me?
Wherever you want to
Great.
look, girl.
Okay.
It's your world today.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm AJ. I'm 27 years old. I'm a law enforcement officer in Illinois. I've been a sheriff's deputy for the past 6 years. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have lived on my own for a year now, which was a big milestone for me. I've always had like a roommate, so it's been pretty cool. I just signed my lease again, so I'm loving living alone.
And you talk about it, so we'll get into it. And it's crazy. You're 27 and you've been an officer for 6 years. I'm 32 and I've been an officer for 6 years. So you have a lot of experience for your age because became a police officer at 26. So you
Yeah,
started young, huh?
I literally immediately, as soon as I was old enough to get hired, I got hired. I graduated from college early to get hired on earlier, and my diploma wasn't even in yet. And boom, I got an offer. I got a couple offers, and I took the one that I felt in my heart was the right one for me. And yeah, and someone, I think it was right when I turned 21, they're like, "Well, how many years do you have on?" I'm like, "One, that's all I can have." Like, when did you want me to
Like I
start
just
working?
started
Yeah,
drinking.
this is yeah. Like, I'm 21, like I have no choice. That's I'm
I love that. I respect that too because I I would have not been able to be a police officer when I was 21. Like there's no way in hell. So I know you probably grew up really fast.
there. Yeah,
But yeah, everyone who comes onto my podcast, I like to ask them the same question, the same first question, and it's how did you grow up and what was your family life growing up? Because I kind of want to get to know like who you were before this
yeah,
to see like maybe why you got into this. So if you want to tell us about how you grew up.
sure. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said you probably had to grow up fast. I
Yeah.
truly did. So I have a mixed family. I have six brothers. I think that explains a lot about me.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. I've got three half brothers, two step brothers, and one twin brother. Um, my parents got divorced when I was really young, 6 months old, and so spent a lot of time back and forth between divorced parents. Always provided for like the necessities, I don't think I grew up with like, I try not to trash on it like the best home life. But let's see, I got kicked out when I was 17. So from
Wow.
17 years old, I've been on my own. Yeah. So when you say I had to grow up early, yeah, for sure. I was bounced around different houses. I was still in high school at that time. So I started living with a girl that I played softball with. Her mom and stepdad took me in. So they let me finish out my senior year with them, which was amazing. Otherwise, I was going to have to move schools. Um, it was an option at that time to move in with my birth mom. Didn't want to do that. So it was really nice of my friend's family to kind of take me in so I could finish out my senior year where I kind of grew up. So
That's why I asked this question because it's so important. Like, and I'm sure, and we could talk, we'll probably get into it later, but I'm sure that it contributes to like the way you act as an officer and like the things that you're able to provide for victims or for children or for whatever. I'm sure that you are able to connect with certain people because of what you've been through and offer different things to the table than someone like me who didn't go through that. So I think it's really important because it definitely probably shapes the person you are today. So what inspired you to become a police officer?
hang on, a thingy just popped up and click out of that. All right. What
Oh,
inspired me?
yeah,
Um,
and
so
so young.
yeah, right. I grew up, I was always like a coach. I was a lifeguard. I feel like I was always in jobs where, I was talking to people, helping people, and it felt right. I was like, this is what, I'm meant to do. Even like a coaching situation, someone got hurt, like all the other coaches are freaking out, I'm calm. So I'm like, this is, I want to do something like this for my career. So when I was in high school, it was an option your junior and senior year to make half of your curriculum college criminal justice classes. So you have to get on a bus and go to another school to take classes. I made the jump. It was 4 of my 8 classes. I really wanted to try it out. Something spoke to me about it. So I started taking the classes. Instantly, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to be a police officer. My still to this day mentor was my teacher in that program, Mr. Hanley. Shout out. He was a sergeant with his agency, and he really, really helped me get where I am today. While I was in that program taking those criminal justice classes, man, I was 16, I believe, and there were a couple of deputies that came in and they started talking about this law enforcement explorer program.
Mm.
So instantly I was like, I want to do that. Sign me up. So this was the first time ever that they were like rolling out the program. And so I was one of the original OG explorers. I was so excited. And so I joined that. And actually, from the time I was 16 till I was 21, I was an explorer. And I actually became an explorer with that agency. Or I'm sorry, I became a deputy with that agency I was an explorer with for all those years. So I went right from being an explorer to a deputy with them. It was crazy.
Oh my God, I love that. At the agency I'm at now, there's a lot of officers that were like, I was an explorer
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
like with the agency. I'm like, oh my God. And again, I could have never done that. So like but it's so cool. It almost like before you get hired, people. Like if anyone's listening, like that it's a really good opportunity to put your kids in explorers or you go
100%.
into explorers. Like if do you help with the explorers now?
So actually, I did help and I ran the program. I was the head advisor for around a year. And then I actually just stepped back from that recently. I have so much going on in my life, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, I was involved with that. I'm still involved with it. But yeah, I was an advisor, still am an advisor, and I was running it for a while there. But I mean, it that 100% helped shape who I am and what I wanted to do because I knew for sure. I think if you have a kid or even if there's younger people who listen to your podcast, like find out now if this is what you want to do, because we had people come into the Explorer program. They were there for 2 weeks and they're like, nope, this isn't it. Versus I went to Academy and a girl that I actually got close with there, she was there for 7 weeks and she was like, this isn't for me. And
Right.
she found that out later versus maybe she could have figured that out earlier on, and earlier on I figured out this is what I'm meant to do, this is what I want to do. So the Explorer
Yeah.
program, it's an amazing program.
Yeah, absolutely. I taught the explorers in Chicago police for a while and I loved it. And
Yeah,
I looked at those kids, I'm like, dude, like I love that you're in this and that like your parents want you here. I just think it's such a good program. Even if you don't want to become a cop, it's just a
yeah.
good after school program where you're with good mentors. Like you
Yep.
said, look, you still have a mentor to this day. So it's just like a really important thing. And I feel like people don't talk about it as much like the Explorer program that it should be because it's such an awesome program
I
at
think
so many departments.
they started kind of same thing with law enforcement and recruiting. It's the same thing with Explorer programs, kind of
Wow, yeah.
because I mean, when I started, there was over 30 kids in the program when I first started, and then when I left, there was like 10. So it's
Yeah.
just like law enforcement numbers are falling, so are law enforcement Explorer programs for
What
sure.
a shame.
You
That's
know,
such a shame. I hope it goes back up.
me too.
When you chose this career, did you have any pushback from friends or family?
So I will say I'm the only police officer, only law enforcement in my family. I have no one in my family does what I do. And I didn't receive any pushback. My parents always thought I'd be a lawyer. I saw something really funny online. It was like, when you call a little kid a lawyer, it's just a nice way of calling them a bitch because they argue.
You're tough. I get it. I mean, I can see it. I can see why they think you'd be a lawyer. I can see it.
So yeah, and that may be my second career option back that or when I'm on for much longer. But no, I didn't really receive any pushback. Honestly, when I said that, people around me who knew me were like, that makes sense. They're like, you'll do well in that. So that felt good, reassuring to hear. And like it just makes sense with my personality, I guess. And I'm a
Yeah.
people person, so I'm a yapper, like to talk. So they're like, you'll do fine. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize too. They think like you have to be like this tough, like stoic person, but like no, like actually us yappers, like we do a lot better on the job because you have to talk to like the randomest
Yeah, yeah,
people and strangers every single day, all day long. So you have to be able to talk to strangers all day, like
yeah.
literally.
You need to have the ability to be best friends with anyone, and that's gotten me out of so many different situations or helped me in so many different situations. And like when I see different people fail, like out of FTO or whatever, one of the biggest reasons is I mean, they can't talk. And it's like,
Yeah,
that's why like even people who start in corrections and then go to the road, they learned how to talk to people but I don't know, she's just a girl,
100%.
just like to talk and I love helping people. So, and like I said, as a lifeguard coach, like it clicked for me there too. So,
Yeah, like leadership and
yeah,
taking charge came naturally, and that totally makes sense.
yeah.
Um, so when it comes to policing, you've already had 6 years and you're 27. Um, what units have you worked in? And if you could pick one, what's been your favorite experience or role that you've had?
So with my time on, I was the lead advisor for our Explorer program, still an advisor for them as well. I also am a crime scene investigator and an evidence technician on a
Oh,
major
wow,
crime task
cool.
force. That is definitely my favorite role. So this was a couple years ago. They put out to the department like, who wants this evidence tech position? No one was really interested. When you work at a smaller agency, I know you worked at Chicago, so they were separate. I didn't realize that going into policing, smaller agencies, a lot of the time detectives will have the detective role and they will have the evidence tech role. I didn't
Yes.
realize two separate things until they were like, who wants to be an evidence tech? And we'd never had one before working for a smaller agency. So I'm like, hell yeah, I want to do that. So I put in for it. I got it. I got sent to training and I immediately was like, I want to do this. And the woman who led our class, she was a master sergeant for the state police at the time. I'm literally watching her up there and I was like, I want to be her. I was like, I want to be her. Like she's so cool, just all the different experiences she had. Um, I like that because I work in a smaller agency, smaller county, we don't have as many incidents as the county next to us, and it's a joint task force. So I would say 80% of my call outs are to that neighboring county.
Oh,
And
that's really
I work,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So I work homicides, officer involved shootings. And those are maybe some things I wouldn't see as often unless I was on this task force.
That's a
So,
good point. That's really cool. So do you take like photographs too? Do you have like one of
yeah,
those
yep,
professional cameras?
yep. Do all that. And I'm a photographer too. So that did help a little. That's one of my side things. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so like at the agency that I work at now, it is separate.
Yeah.
Um, and I always look at them. I'm like, I think your job's so cool. Like they, like you said, like they'll come on scene for like homicides and
Yeah.
shootings and really bad accidents and things like that. And like when they're snapping the photos, I'm like, I want to do that. And they'll take the fingerprints and they'll, store like crazy evidence. Like we found all these needles and they knew how to store them and how to like measure them and all this crazy shit. And I was like, damn, you guys do a lot. So that's
Yeah.
cool that you get to be an officer and do both.
I love the balance, honestly, because
Yeah.
their agency, it's that neighboring agency actually, they offered me a job the exact same time as the agency I'm with now. And it was really a decision of which one do I go with. I ultimately went to where I'm at now, but that agency is so big that they have full-time crime scene investigators, so they have full-time CSIs. So I mean, one of my good friends, he works for that agency. He doesn't get to be a patrol deputy. All he does is that, which
Yes.
he likes, but I kind of like that I get to do both.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, So in law enforcement, as women, we tend to face some struggles. Um, have you faced any struggles in law enforcement and did it help shape you as a person or as an officer? If you could talk a little bit about anything you've experienced.
100%. Um, when I first started at my agency, and I obviously won't say who, but someone told me right off the bat, just so you know, there are going to be men here that don't think you should be here. There are going to be men who don't think women belong here at all. And, I I took that, I absorbed that. Luckily, I was not treated poorly. I was treated just like anyone else. I know that I'm lucky in that experience because I do have a lot of female friends in law enforcement, where they get pushback. Um, I don't want to, I used to think I just wanted to be one of the boys. And I kind of realized like, I'll never just be one of the boys, you know, like I'm different from them and I understand that. They're like my brothers. But there definitely have been experiences along the way. Um, it's interesting to see how some people perceive a woman officer versus a male officer, you know. Sometimes it helps you. I think sometimes it hurts you. There's a lot of men that don't like being told what to do by a woman, you know, and you find that out kind of quick. Um, there are a lot of experiences. When I first started, I was 21, I was young, you know, and I'm
Like a
sensitive. Also,
little fish in a big pond
yes, yeah.
full of
And
sharks.
yes, yeah. And I mean, I'm getting trained by people who have been cops longer than I've been alive, you know? Like I'll never forget my FTO was like, wait a second, what year were you born? And I said 97. He's like, I started in 95. And I was like,
Oh my God.
I was negative too, bro. Like that's crazy. But yeah, it just, I mean, a learning experience for sure. I feel like I've learned so much patience. I felt like when I first started, I had more of a temper. I also thought, I was just thinking about this the other day, actually. I also thought that I could only be a hard ass. I could only be a badass. I could only be tough. There was no time where I could just be, I don't want to say like, I'd say I'm a tough person. I come off as intimidating. I've been told that numerous times, but like I'm also goofy. I'm a girl. I love being a girly girl. Well, when I first started, like for example, I have this at work. I carry this around now. You wouldn't have caught 21-year-old AJ doing that because I didn't want it to be seen as weak, you know? Like I'm so glad
100%.
I know now what I know because back then, you know, if you're nice to someone, you're weak. But if you're tough and you're a woman, you're a bitch. It's like you can't win, you know? Like, and I had to learn how to handle myself. I'll never forget, you know, I was the tough talker, you know, I almost felt like I was overcompensating or trying to overcompensate in a way. And my FTO like took me to the side one day and he's like, you keep talking like that, you're gonna get punched in the face. And he was right. Cause it's like you don't, you know, I also learned you're a person to a person, you're an asshole to an asshole. But even now, I don't really take I don't really do that either because I feel like I'm nice to everyone until they give me a reason to be. But I even when they're not nice, I feel like there's a lot of the time that if you just keep being nice and keep bringing them down, they'll eventually come down. Like I
100%.
yeah, like and some people just they need to get it out. And then when you're low and you keep staying low, they're gonna match you, you know, and not all the time, obviously, right? You can't, there's sometimes where no, you're not always gonna de-escalate, but a lot of the time, I'll say most of the time it works, you know, and I had to figure that out. Like I use being a girl to my advantage now versus back then, I don't want to say I saw it as a weakness, but I just didn't know how to go about it correctly, I would say. Yeah.
I think, like, first of all, I'm pinning that clip on my page because you just like literally hit the nail on the head because I feel like every single one of us girls felt that way. We come
Yes.
in, we have to act like this hard ass because we don't know how to navigate things. There's not, unfortunately, and I think it's happening more, but there, at least I didn't have right when I started, a lot of female leaders or bosses that could show me or I can learn from. I had zero female FTOs. I didn't have a close female sergeant until like maybe 3 years on the job where I could ask questions or whatever. So now that that's coming forward more, I think that's definitely really helpful. But we didn't have examples to like look at except for dudes. So we're like trying to kind of like match their energy or, like you said, if we're tough, we're a bitch. If we're nice, we're weak. And it's so hard to navigate until you start learning that like you can be this asset and this tool to a team because you're a girl.
Flies with honey. You do.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. You
Hmm.
totally hit the nail on the head with that. That is like makeup even. And I've talked about this a lot, but like I was afraid to wear makeup when I started.
Yes.
I'm
100%.
sure when you first got your lashes, you were like, what are people going to think at work?
And
Like Like I
And
would
they
go to work with like a full face of makeup and people would be like, "Are you going somewhere later? Like, what are you doing with all that makeup on?" I don't know. Maybe I just felt like wearing makeup today.
and that's exactly what you said. Like I wear makeup now to work and don't even work because it makes me feel good. Like I like looking good. You look good, you feel good. You and I same thing for the gym. You look good, you feel good, you perform good. You do your job good. You know, like I there was something you said. What was it? I lost my train of thought. Oh, when you said you didn't have a lot of female examples.
Yeah.
I'm the only female on patrol at my agency.
I
I
was just
am,
gonna say, you said you're at a small agency, so you
yeah.
probably had like no females to show you the way.
There was one female sergeant. She was the administrative sergeant, and now she's deputy chief. And then there was one female SRO. But on the road, I'm on my own, and yeah, my FTOs were male. And I actually just went to a training class. And I will say I didn't want to go at first because I was like, it was like women in law enforcement, and I was like, eh. And then I went, and I mean, the class was amazing. I'll have to look up the lady's name, make sure you follow her.
Oh,
She's
yes,
talking on
please.
CNN, on Fox. And when she started law enforcement, I mean, there was no women in law enforcement in Illinois, and just everything she was talking about just further drove it home for me how men and women are different, but that's good, you know, like we
Yes.
have other assets to offer. We have other things to offer, you know. And I'm just thinking about your interview that you did yesterday.
Oh,
Man, that one sucked for sure because I really like that dude. And yeah, that was just disappointing to see because I know maybe why it kind of hit home for me or why it stung so much. I've had a male coworker say something similar to my face.
yeah.
So maybe that's why it sucks more too. Like I've heard people say that to me. You know, when I was in academy, this guy, have never done anything to him. Never met him. He doesn't know me. And one of the first things he says to me is that women don't belong in law enforcement. And it's like, I think of all the times that my male counterparts have needed me and needed me because I'm a woman. And it's like,
Literally.
I'm like, okay, like, sure. It's just like laughable to me. Like, I understand a woman where there's always going to be someone that's bigger, stronger. We're biologically different than males. But then I laugh at that too, because I know male officers that I know one and I can literally bench press it multiple times. So it's like, you know, that there's small
Yeah.
male officers as well. And there's male officers too that don't do their job. So like, I hate getting grouped in, you know, you see the whatever video that goes viral every few months of a woman police officer, women shouldn't. And it's like, you don't see all the good that women do though, as well. And men are, I mean, you remember the acorn video of the guy?
Oh my God.
And then
If that
even
was a girl, are you kidding?
that, and
Like,
even
are
that,
you?
even your interview with Andy, like I don't understand why women were even brought into that conversation because I'm like, you know that those were all males on the stop. And like even when I watched that video, I said to myself, I go, I wish there had been a female on that stop. Like
Yes.
I that's how I felt, you know, and it's
Yeah.
obviously not, you can't say that's all people, you know, not all females, but I think a lot of them are very good at de-escalating and, you know, bringing someone down. So
I think it's one of our main strong points is
I
yes,
agree.
our de-escalation because we have an innate instinct to be motherly and
Yes.
to have that like caring quality. We're born with it. We can't freaking help it, but we do. And it helps a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
Um, and we do have a place, obviously, in this career. And 99% of our male coworkers would say, I absolutely need a chick on my freaking watch or as my partner. But yes, like you said, there are still some people that do think that we have no place here. And those people need therapy and probably have mommy issues.
I mean, honestly though, it's like, are you okay? Are the males like even all
And
the
it's probably the ones that you could bench who are
yeah,
saying it.
even like you, I mean, I think you and I connected over that one page that like likes to
Yes.
make fun of all like female officer, even males, they make fun of males too, but I feel like especially women.
Yes.
I'll read some of those comments and I'm like, are you guys okay? Like, is everything okay? Honestly, I'm like, to be a grown man or woman just absolutely shitting on people for what? Like, this is your page is made specifically to hate on people.
Yes.
Are you okay? That's I had to really like sit and think about it, and I'm like, how miserable is your life? Like, this is your life that you do every day. This is what your entire social media revolves around. It's insane to me. I'm like,
It's it's so insane, and it's sad because a lot of the people that comment on those hate pages are other officers.
yeah.
And it's so wild because it's like, how do you go to work every day and like do your job? Because there's no way if you act the way you act on the internet at work, we're such like a team environment at work. There's no way you get along with people. How are you get along with people if you have that kind of attitude? Like you're not going to make it very far.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
it's such a team vibe.
yeah, yeah. And I think you can kind of you see a comment like that, and then you picture in your head someone you know like that
Yeah.
in person, and it's like you're miserable. Like, even like I remember I like posted a video, it was like a day in the life, and someone just people can't help themselves, like comment something negatively, and they're like, wait till you've been on the job this amount of years. And I'm like, I've been consistently working 12-hour shifts and going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week for 2 years now. Like, don't uh, not everyone has to be miserable like you, because that's what the comment was. It was like, wait till you, and it's like, dude, just be quiet. Like, I don't understand. I don't
Like
understand
what
people.
you said, you had like at first, I have it in my questions to ask you, but like, you know, with putting yourself out there on the internet, um, comes with criticism, and especially being a female officer comes with criticism. And you have to look at who's doing the criticism, like you said, and realize that like they're just not happy people. And miserable people hate happy people. And once you look at it that way, that your happiness irks them, it's kind
Yeah.
of
No,
powerful.
it is 100%. 100%.
And you're very, very vulnerable online. And I would like to think I am too, but I do feel like you're even more vulnerable than me. And I think that you have so many followers, not just because you're a cool, badass police officer that can like bench press 1,000,000 pounds, but I
Mhm.
think that you're really cool because you do talk about like relationships and weight loss and mental health and life, and humanizing the badge is what is the most important, showing that we're totally regular people just like anybody else, and we have our own struggles and whatever. Does it scare you to be vulnerable online, or when did you make the decision that you're like, I'm just going to be myself and just like keep rolling with it?
Yeah, no, that question it's a loaded question for me.
Yeah.
Sure. I have always cared what other people think of me growing up. It was a huge thing for me. Um, I made the decision to, and of course we all, a little bit of us still cares what other people think, but I made the
100%.
decision to start living my life for me. And if someone isn't happy for me, or if someone has a resort to making fun of me, that's not my business, honestly. A friend of mine told me, like, what other people think of me is none of my business. And he's right, because what first of all, you must not have a lot going on in your life if you're so consumed with mine, so consumed about what I'm doing, or you're bothered by what I'm doing. I get a lot of heat. I work with all males. A lot of them are just teasing, right? They put an anti TikTok cop sticker right on. I took a picture with it. I was like,
I
shut up.
love it. I love it.
But most of them are joking, and that does not bother me. Being vulnerable though about, like, let's say relationships, about fat loss, because I post a lot of before photos, and before
Yes.
that would, oh god, that would like make I would have so much anxiety about doing it. And what I learned is, like, there are so many people who have been where I've been, and this helps them. This motivates them or inspires them. Just all the messages I get, coming from someone who, isn't happy with their body, or they're going through a tough breakup, or they want to be a female police officer. And it's like, just the fact that maybe I'm even helping them through a little,
Yeah.
um, it's worth it. I mean, to me, being vulnerable to strangers is easy. It's the people that know me in real life that maybe follow my TikTok, that it's like, what are they gonna think of this? And honestly, I still am that way kind of with my Instagram. Like, my TikTok is my diary. my Instagram, I'm a little more hesitant to put the same content I put on my TikTok on my Instagram, because my Instagram is 90% of people who know me in real life, you know? And
Right.
it's not
Same.
that, yeah, it's not that I'm a different person. It's just exposing that person to everyone on Instagram. And those are all people who know me, you know? Because people have a lot to say about how you live your life, right?
Yeah.
Everyone always has something to say, but it's like, unless you pay my bills, get the fuck out of here, you know? Like I just remember as my TikTok following kept getting bigger, you know, the little comments like, "Oh, how's your little influencer thing going?" And it's like, I'm making money off of it now. First of all, that was never the goal. Like that's just like a side thing, you know, like it's a bonus to, I love making content. I love you know, what I do on there. And it's like, you know, people just talk shit. If people aren't laughing at your goals and your dreams, that sounds like so corny, but it's true. Like your ideas to them sound insane, and you know that, sure, that'll happen for you, and then make them happen right in front of their face. And you
Absolutely.
know, those hating people who you said are not happy, they're going to be people who don't want to see you win, because it reminds them of their shortcomings, their failures. Like they don't want to see you succeed, and it reminds them that they're not doing as well as they could, you know? So not my business. Oh, this, you'll like this. This was funny. I was on a call and I had to call another female officer. It didn't have to be a female. I just needed a Spanish speaking officer. And we didn't have anyone in the county. So they had to come from a county over, and she comes, she reads my order of protection in Spanish. And then at the end, right as I'm about to go to my car, she goes, "Hey, don't you have TikTok?" And I literally go, "Yeah, don't make fun of me. I'm sensitive." And I start laughing. And she goes, "No, I wasn't gonna make fun of you." She goes, I love your content. I love your videos." And I was like, "Okay, all right, we can be friends." And I'm like, please, I hear about it every day at work. Don't make fun of me. I cannot. But she was,
Right.
but it's, yeah. I mean,
I
I
love
definitely
that.
know, it's so cute. So it's like, you
That
know,
is
there are
so
people
cute.
out there who enjoy your stuff, the people who are your true friends, who want to see you win, who are happy for you. Those are the true caring people that you should have in your life. And the people who are hating, like I feel bad for them, to be honest. Like they've
I do
got so,
too.
you
I
know,
pray, I literally like pray for them. I'm like, you know what? You have so
that's,
much hate in your heart, and I feel so bad that you have to live that way because I do not
imagine
have to
being in
live
their
that way.
head. Yeah, imagine being in their head. Like that is just the
Very dark place.
yeah, the toxicity and just the constant negativity. Like I believe, you know, surrounding yourself with good positive energy and good positive people and people who have similar goals and lifestyles as you is so important. And you know, just I've cut out people who are negative like that, or toxic. Like I that doesn't have a place in my life, you know. This
Yeah,
job is hard enough, right? Like this is so damn expensive to live this day and age. It's like you don't need any, if it's not making me a better person, or it doesn't make me happy, and then it doesn't have a place in my life, honestly.
absolutely. And I hope that the like girls that listen to this episode, like, because even me, like, you're like inspiring me, girl. Like, it's just good to hear.
Fire
And
me.
you're,
I love that I found your stuff. I love all your
no, I love your stuff. And like, you're such a powerful, like, strong woman. And I didn't realize that you're like the only girl. And I didn't real, like, there's a lot of cool things that I'm learning about you. And you talked about your weight loss stuff.
yes, ma'am.
And you do put yourself out there, and you do work out like crazy,
Yeah.
and you do your meal prepping and you do all that stuff. Is that like a passion for you, or you just like to work out and that's it, or like are you going to take it somewhere else, you're working out?
So, I actually, right now, as of right now, my goals are to get where I want to be, my physique where I want to be, my overall health and fitness where I want to be. But big long-term goals, I would love to get my personal training license and, you know, start on that journey. I have a personal trainer. I'm always plugging
Oh, that's
him.
awesome.
I was at the gym before this, but his name's Ryan. He does all online coaching, so I'll plug him. But he's taking clients right now. He honestly, that's who changed my life. And
Wow.
I would love to do that for other people, because just getting the messages about how I inspired someone, or my coworker, he started working with my trainer because I did. He's down 30 pounds in 3 months. He's doing amazing.
Amazing.
Um, my friend, she is an officer for a different agency. She, I think it's 9 inches off her waist, lost weight. She's doing amazing. Like there's all these different people who have signed up with my trainer and are seeing such amazing results. And it's like, if I didn't put if I didn't put my journey out on the internet, out for people to see, it wouldn't have happened, because I shared my story. There are different people who are bettering themselves and getting healthier. And like, I love that. So to me, it's worth it, like maybe being embarrassed, like, um, pictures of me when I used to be a lot bigger. And it's to me, it's still embarrassing for sure to see myself like that. But it's worth it because there's people who are changing their habits, changing their lifestyles because they saw I did it and they do it too. So
Yeah, your workout posts are like so inspirational. And it's usually not even you just like working out. It's like you working out with like a purpose or like a quote or like something that's going on in your life. And I hope that you continue to do that because I really, really like that. And I also think that like in the future, I could totally see you with like some sort of workout program or being a personal trainer or like whatever, because like I said, it's not just a video of watching you work out. You're like putting something in there that's like motivating you to be there, which
yeah.
is like, I'll watch your shit, girl. And I'm like, I gotta get my ass in the gym. I'm like, damn it. I'm like trying to go 3 days a week is my goal. And you're there like, I worked 12 hours and I still went to the gym and ran 5 miles. I'm like, I
I'm
literally hate myself.
I'm psychotic.
It's
Going 3 days a week is plenty. That's what people don't realize. You don't have.
okay.
I'm insane. There's no reason to. I mean, if you have the time, sure. But 3 days a week, that's what like is perfect. You can do 3 days a week and still see huge results. So I just want that out there because
Hallelujah.
3 days a
Because
week is totally fine.
girl, I
Yeah,
was supposed to go today, but I think I'm gonna go have margaritas instead. This is probably
hey,
not gonna be in your
balance,
program.
balance, balance. Love me a good
Um,
margarita.
yeah. Um, okay. So do you have any? Oh, I already asked that. Okay, cheerleading. I have to ask you about it
Yes.
because I think it's so cool. And you're kind of like living my dream. So you were or still are, you can tell me, a competitive cheerleader. And like, can you do backflips and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. See, that is so cool. Tell us about like getting, because some people like me don't know that you could be 27 years old and do competitive cheerleading. So how did you find this and what are you doing with that?
Okay, yeah. All right. So just a little background. I've cheered my entire life. Ever since I was probably like 7. And then I cheered all the way through middle school, all the way through high school, and I also cheered in college. So I was a college cheerleader. I competed at Daytona Beach, Florida twice in nationals.
Oh
So
my God,
super
it's like
cool.
bring it on.
Yeah,
This is so
yeah.
exciting.
So it was so cool. I got to do that twice. That was I mean, once in a lifetime experience. So cool. And then I stopped, got into my career. I yeah, obviously I was out of college. And then one of my friends, she's a year younger than me. We used to cheer together in high school. I saw that she was on a cheerleading team. I was like, man, what tell me about that. Like, that's cool. Like, what are you doing? And she told me about it and I didn't really think much of it. And then had to have been at least 6 months later, she goes, oh, leash. She goes, the quarter season team is having tryouts tomorrow. You should do it. So the
Like the day
day
before she told you?
yes, I
Oh
find out
shit.
about tryouts. I have not done anything cheer related in 7 years. So I'm like, am I gonna do this? I'm like, I'm gonna try it out. I think I'm gonna do it. Full send. I was like, so I'm at home recording myself doing jumps, and I was like, oh, I can still do this. I got it. I
Riding a
will
bike.
yeah, yeah. I will say if I was not in the physical shape that I am from the gym and mobility, all the stretching I do, the cardiovascular health or shape that I'm in, I wouldn't have been able to do this team. So I go to the tryout. Um, I don't tumble on this team because I think about like let's say if I get hurt and then I gotta go tell my boss, the sheriff, AJ, what were you doing that you got hurt? A backflip. Like, I don't think that would be accepted. So I only stunt and jump on this team, which I'm totally fine with because I don't obviously I don't want to get hurt for work and stuff.
Yes.
I stunt. It's on my team, it's a all-star competitive cheerleading team. So it's ages 14 through, there's some 30 something year olds on my team. Um, it's co-ed, men and women. It's a quarter season team, so it's only part of the year. We had one competition. It was in Hawaii. We won.
Saw.
We won our
You
division.
won?
We won the entire competition. We were the grand champions. So it was so cool. I got to go to Hawaii. I was so happy I did it. And even just like on a whim, I was like, trial tomorrow, shit, I'll do it. And then I made the team and I was like, oh shit, I'm in this now. I was like, okay. So I loved every second of it. Funny, this is a funny story. So we were at roll call and I had to start leaving. I would have to use comp hours to leave sometimes on Sundays because I would have practice like twice a month, 6 to 10 p.m. on Sundays. So I would have to leave work a little early on Sundays sometimes. And I come into roll one Sunday and my friend Chad goes, oh, we don't have to leave early today, no practice. And I go, no, I don't have any practice today, Chad. And one of the other guys goes, practice for what? And I'm like, and I kept this a secret from the guys at work. I will tell you, I kept this a secret for a while. And one of the guys goes, practice for what? And I was like, cheerleading. And he goes, oh, who you coaching? I said, no, I'm on the team. I'm on the team. And he literally looks up from his phone. He's like, you're on the team. And I was like, yeah. He goes, what's it called? And I was like, Cheer Extreme All Stars. And he goes, you do this to yourself. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's enough talking about my extracurricular activities, you assholes.
I'm
Like,
gonna wear my bow on patrol tomorrow.
yeah. He goes, you're on the team. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I'm on the team. Yeah, it's me. I was like, but you know what? I felt awesome because I'm keeping up with these 14-year-olds and like
Yeah,
I was so strong and I was like, I love this. It was amazing. I'm so happy I did it.
I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you.
most people do. I mean, I think it's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's cool that you're like still going after your dreams and still doing passions because a lot of us lose that, not just in law enforcement, but in other careers. It's like we start jobs and then we forget about like the things that we love, like me
100%.
included. I was a dancer like you were a cheerleader, and I would give anything to go to a dance class twice a month, you
Yeah.
know? And maybe I will now that I
You
talked to you.
should. What kind of dancing did you
Oh.
do?
Well, hip hop was my number one.
Oh, I
Yeah,
would
I used to be in like music videos, girl. Like I was all up in
come
that
back to
shit. I didn't
Chicago.
even.
Let's go to a hip hop class. I've never done one. I want to do
Oh my
one.
God, yes.
Okay,
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
But you're
Let's do
gonna
it.
be doing backflips, and I'm gonna be like
Yeah, yeah.
breaking my knees. Be like, they're gonna be like, drop it low, and I'm gonna crack.
Don't got the Megan knees anymore.
Yeah, no, they're gone. They're long gone. And I'm older than you too. You got youth on your side. Shit's gone, girl.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so last little vulnerable thing about you. Uh and I'm gonna be like your coworker. You did it to yourself.
Okay.
You talk openly about being a strong, single,
Mhm.
independent female. And I love this. Can you tell us how you decided to choose yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I so I will say a big part, I went through a pretty bad breakup. I was on again, off again in a 4-year relationship with someone who wasn't a bad guy at all. He's a good guy. And I think sometimes that makes it harder, right?
Yeah.
In my experience anyway, it's easier to end relationships when the other person is not a good person. It makes it easier. But he was a good person. Um, but for 4 years, I kind of was not met where I was at, kind of asking, begging for the same things over and over again. And actually, what really got the wheels turning for me, one of the biggest things, I watched a TikTok and it was like, mark down every single time you're unhappy in a month span. And out of 31 days, I marked down 29 days. And it's like,
Yeah.
what am I
Wow.
doing? I'm 27 years old and I asked myself, like, do I want to be loved like this for the rest of my life? And my answer was no. I think a lot of women in general hold on to the hope that someone will be better or be what they need. And you're waiting on their potential versus what they're showing you over and over again. You know, I spent a lot of time trying to make him into my person versus him actually being my person, and I don't want to say it was a waste. It's not, because I learned exactly what I want in a relationship. I learned exactly what my non-negotiables are. And that's another thing. I always told myself, I would never settle. And I was compromising on things that I shouldn't be compromising on. And I was negotiating my non-negotiables. And I learned so much from that relationship, and I wish that person the best. They truly are a good person. They just weren't my person. But I learned that I have to put myself first. And someday, and maybe it won't happen for me now, maybe it'll be a few years, who knows, someone will meet me where I'm at, and someone will reciprocate what I put into a relationship, because I have a lot of love to give. I'm a lover girl, like truly at heart, I'm a lover girl. I saw something, it's like, but all these freaking boys keep bringing out the big dog. It's true. I'm like,
I
I just
love that. I could
soft lover girl.
like
I'm a
let me
lover
be in
girl,
my lover girl era.
my soft girl era for
Yes.
sure. And I, I don't know. I 100% just like, I chose me, and my faith was a big part of that. Like, something from God is not going to cause you to be anxiety ridden, is not going to be so stressful. Obviously, everyone has relationship problems. There's going to be problems in relationships. Nothing's perfect. But to be unhappy all the time, you don't have to live like that. And it was a pressure thing for me too, because all my friends are married, or all my friends are engaged, all my friends are having babies, and this actually just happened. One of my friends, her husband told me, he goes, you need to lower your standards. You're getting old. He goes, you're gonna be by yourself. And for him to say that and actually like fully truly mean it, and it's like, I don't care if I'm sitting here 40 years old with no one by my side. I'd rather be alone than be with someone who makes me feel alone. I'd rather be alone than with someone who makes me constantly question things. Like, I want to be in a healthy, secure relationship. I want someone who's just as loyal as me. I want someone who is able to communicate. And I'm not going to settle for anyone. I won't. I'll be by myself. And I'm proud of me for kind of learning that, because before I always had to be in a relationship, and I kind of was nervous about living on my own. I was like, what if I get lonely? Or I haven't been lonely one day. I go, I love living by
It's
myself. This
the
is amazing. And honestly, I'm like, I don't even know how anyone else would fit in this house. Like, I have both closets. Like, I love, it's so peaceful. And like, when I truly started making decisions for myself and choosing myself, and like really relying on my faith, because like, God's got a plan for me. I know that he has a plan for me. He has a person for me, and I'll know it. I'll know it when it's right. So I'm not stressing about it. I used to stress about it a lot, and it's like, whatever's meant to be is meant to be, and you can never miss what's for you. So that has brought me like so much peace. Like, let go, let God, 100%.
yeah. Amen, girl. And you're so young. And
Apparently not. Apparently I'm getting old. And my
girl, I
he's
feel
like,
still like I'm 21, so you are fine.
how you
You got
feel?
plenty of time. And I appreciate you talking about that and being so vulnerable, because so many of my listeners are women, and I just think it's important to hear that, like, it's okay, you're going to be okay. If you choose yourself, like, look at all the cool things that you've gotten into. Your fitness has exponentially grown. You got into this competitive cheer. You brought hobbies and passions back into your life. Like, you moved out and got a new house for yourself. Like, all these really great things are happening for you. And it's not because, the dude sucked or anything. It's just because he wasn't your guy. And I respect that so much. And you deserve to find your person. He deserves to find his. And you got plenty of time. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you sharing that. I really
yeah,
do.
for
Um, so what goals do you have for the future, and what can we expect from you as one of your fans, one of your fangirls or guys? What could we expect from you in the future?
I just take it day by day. I really would like to just continue to grow in my experience as a crime scene investigator. I love it. I love doing that. I go to another training course pretty soon here. Actually, you'll love this. Have you ever heard of the Body Farm
Wait a minute. That sounds familiar.
in Tennessee? People donate their bodies to
Yes.
science. outdoor.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I got
Yes.
selected, so I'm going.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yes. So
We're weird humans because I would find that so freaking
I
cool.
know, I
Oh my
know.
God.
Yes. Well, honestly, that's why like people give me shit because I usually date cops or law enforcement. And it's like because something like that, I'll tell a normal
Like,
person,
I'm so excited.
yeah, yeah. And they're like, body farm. And I'm like,
Like, I
I'm
can talk about this over dinner and like
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah. So
That is
no,
so
super
cool. You have to
excited.
make a TikTok after you go and like
I
share your
will. I
experience.
think I'm gonna pretty. I think I'll pretty much like document whatever I can, whatever I'm
Yeah.
allowed to. But for
Yeah.
sure, definitely gonna do a TikTok on that. Because I'm like, this is gonna be such a cool experience, you know.
Yeah.
And I got selected out of the task force, so super pumped. But just to what to expect from me, fitness goals. I mean, I have a lot of goals for that. A lot of goals for that. I want to just keep pushing my body to its limits and see kind of where I can go with that. I really like functional fitness too, to where I can run as well, move, do a lot of mobility work. That is huge for me. That's probably I'll say number two, because number one is growing my relationship with God, my faith. I grew up in the church. I am a Christian. I feel like I really backed off of that for a while, just because I really didn't agree with like a lot of the things my parents had to say about it. Kind of just lost my way a little bit, and now I'm working on that. Um, Fitness, and then yeah, like maybe eventually I could get my personal trainer certificate. I would love to do that. I want to continue to grow on social media. I think I can um, keep continuing to put out like good content
Mhm.
that help people, that inspire people. Uh, yeah, just kind of some of the things at the top of my head. I'm looking for my husband, so that's yeah. I'm looking.
The Bachelorette.
Yeah, I have a date Friday, so we'll see how it
And
goes.
by the way, I love when you document your dates too. I'm invested. I'm very invested.
It's so
I'll be
fun.
watching.
Okay, all right.
I'll be watching, girl. I love it. But I love it because it's like you could be this like tough hard ass cop chick and then you're like, I went on a date. And I love it. Like we
Yeah.
all need to like show that we're just girls
That's
at the
like
end of the day.
everyone
We're
else.
just a
I'm
girl.
just a girl. Yeah, exactly.
Just
I'm just a girl.
a girl.
Oh, it's true. I know the
I
one
love
TikTok
it.
I shared about the guy who came up to me in person. Did you watch that and gave me the little note?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He ended up being real fucking weird, but it's
Well,
still
I appreciate the balls because these days men don't have any.
no, no. I mean, I've also seen what my resting bitch face looks like, and I would not approach me either. So I understand it from that side. Someone literally sent me a picture of me one time at the gym, and I was like, damn, no wonder no one fucking talks to me. I'm like, that's crazy. I wouldn't talk to me either. I'm like, oh
Like,
my,
damn, I do look pretty intimidating.
so mean. I'm like, and I swear I'm the nicest. Like this guy,
And all your tattoos.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm not talking to this bitch. I'm like, I really am so nice.
You are. And I adore you. And I will be
Like,
watching. And where can people find you if they're listening?
Um, I gotta even go look at what my tag is.
I know
What
I like don't know what mine
is
is either. But
I
you can follow her on TikTok and Instagram.
yes, TikTok and Instagram. My tag is ajjune.fit. I am probably more active on TikTok, I would say, but I'm also pretty active on Instagram as well. So if you want to follow me, we talk
Give her
about,
a follow.
talk about boys, we talk about policing, we talk about fitness, we talk about God, we talk about whatever. So whatever's going on in my life.
I love it. And I appreciate that you also bring God into it because I'm trying to get more into my faith as well. So I appreciate you talking about it. And again, I totally adore you. I think that you're the shit. And I feel like I already know you, but we
And
definitely have to like meet up and hang out in person. But thank you so much for being here today.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.